Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news. How are you all doing? That's how we're doing. We started the day in 4th. We're going to finish it in 6th. But we started the weekend in 9th and it is progress. So lots to get into on the show. The flagship show of the United Stand, the Sunday night show. Get your comments in. You drive this show. But there's a topic I want to start off with straight away. And I've seen some people saying, you know what, INEOS are doing such a good job. They've backed Amorim. They're going to give him 3 years. Credit to INEOS. They're doing such a good job. And I think 2 weeks ago, you wanted new owners. 2 weeks ago, you can't stand the Glazers and Sir Jim. You want the UAE. We beat bloody Liverpool and Brighton, and it's, oh, INEOS. They're doing such a good job. I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think that I look at that league table and it is ridiculous. You've got Bournemouth in 2nd, you've got Spurs 3rd, you've got Sunderland 4th, Man City, Liverpool, Villa are back after winning 4 in a row. Chelsea will bounce back as well. Newcastle aren't even in the equation yet. And what do I look at with Manchester United? And the one thing Amorim needs and the one thing INEOS must do is back him in January. I mean, it's great. It's really positive at the moment, but I'm a firm believer that when you're successful, that's the time to work harder. Because when you're successful, everybody wants to take a pop at you. I mean, look at Arsenal. Everyone's taking a pop at them. They've conceded 3 goals in 9 games. They've conceded no shots on target in 2 games. They're not resting on their laurels. And I actually do think that Ruben Amorim at the moment is silencing his doubters. No matter what anybody said this morning, it's your show tonight. Tell me I'm wrong. Some people in the comments were like, what are you talking about? He's silencing nobody. I think he is silencing his doubters. Garnacho's a bloody disaster at Chelsea. Hooked, like yesterday, booted by Amorim. Sancho today comes on as a sub, gets subbed as a sub, booted by Amorim. Mbeumo, Cunha, Lemens, Bruno in the midfield, Casemiro back in the team, Dalot at left wing back. It's all working for him at the moment. He's doing well with glaringly obvious issues. INEOS didn't give him a midfielder in the summer. I think they bloody need to give him one in January. We are doing really well at the moment, but part of me thinks, I don't know how sustainable it's going to be with the potential issues that we have. This morning I was like 4th place, maybe a title tilt. Tonight I'm going, we're doing really, really well, but it ain't as easy as winning 3, 4, 5 games in a row and you win the league. Winning 3, 4, 5 games in a row gets you into the race for top 5. Just gets you into the race. Reminds me of Solskjaer. Remember when Solskjaer took over from Jose? We were miles off top 4. And it was like a ridiculous run. I can't even remember what Solskjaer did. Somebody in the chat will know. A ridiculous run of results. And somebody said it in the chat years ago. I wish I could remember the name. Let's say Paul Robinson. He's a bit of a goated mod that we haven't had on for a while. And then somebody said, the problem is, Ollie's coming from so far behind and he's sprinting to catch up with the rest. By the time he gets there, will he have any energy to fight them or will he just get there and then fall off? And what happened? He did amazingly well to get us into the top 4 race in March and then we fell off. And we need to learn from history. We 100% need to learn from history. If Amorim can get us into a top 4 race at Christmas, he'll have worked wonders with what he's got. INEOS need to back him. It's all right, Sir Jim Radcliffe sitting there and going, at the end of the day, well, at the end of January, get him a bloody midfielder. Because if you don't, that league table is probably what's going to happen. Man United in 6th, just missing out. And I think it's really important that some of you won't want to do it. Some of you won't want to do it, and I welcome those opinions. But I'm a firm believer. When we got 1 million subscribers on YouTube all those years ago, and everyone who was working with the United Stand was like, this is amazing, this is amazing. You know what I did? It's great. What's next? Because that's just, I think I learned a lot of that from various people in my life, and one of those would be Sir Alex Ferguson, who I've never met. But first place was never good enough. You had to go and do it again and again and again. And I tell you what, 6th place is not good enough. We need to be in the Champions League. We need to be in the top 4. We're knocking on the door now. I don't know that Amorim can do much more with what he's got. I really don't think he can get us into a title race, and I don't think he can guarantee top 4. But I think if you keep giving him bits, there is a great chance. And all I'm saying is everything's going very, very well for us at the moment. I'm sure there'll be times when it doesn't go well. But if I'm INEOS, all I'm saying is, if I'm INEOS and I'm the Glazers, I'm sat there tonight at the end of October, knowing the January transfer window is basically coming very, very quickly, and I'm prepping and I'm saying to my scouts, to Wilcox, to Favel, to Brada, let's make sure in January we deliver him what he needs, because we got a chance here. We got a chance. If we're in 12th place, you might go, why waste the money? But we got a chance, and I think that it's our job as fans to keep the foot on the pedal. And if the team and the players are doing well, where else isn't doing well? And I'm looking at the owners, I'm saying, come on, you didn't get him the midfielder in the summer. Now go and get him in January. Because look at Man City. They bought players in January. Look at Chelsea, they've done it. So I think backing him is really important. Also tonight, I want to get, well, I think top four is possible as well, Ryan. That's why I mean, it's like going on holiday, isn't it? And, you know, you pack one pair of swimming trunks, but you've got but somebody says, would you like a better pair? And you go, you know what? I'll be okay. I'll risk it with this pair. Why would you not take another pair that are better than the ones that you've got? There's room in the suitcase, you know, and I think United need to look at it like that. Also tonight, I want to hear from Amorim outers. If you dare, I dare you to get in the comment and tell me, how are you feeling about Amorim now? Are you still Amorim out? Are you Amorim in? Are you waiting to come back in? Are you never coming back in? I think I've seen a lot of people online trying to get people who are Amorim out just to comment. You know, you don't have to say you're Amorim out. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I just want to know where you are. Interestingly, we've also got a poll tonight. Are United really back? 49% are saying yes. 50% are saying no. I actually thought that might be a little bit higher than that. To answer that question, are United back? I think the definitive answer is to sit on the fence, to be honest. I don't like it, but, you know, I think I'm very excited about the next two games. I'm very excited about November. I was looking at our next few fixtures for Manchester United, and when you look at it, well, you can't look at it. You can look at the league table, but these are our next few games. So obviously Forest away next week. Then we've got Spurs away the week after. Then we've got Everton at home, and then we've got Crystal Palace away. It's really weird for United at the moment because every 4 games we seem to have 3 away. Like when we came back from the international break, it was Liverpool away, Brighton at home, Forest and Spurs away. And I know we haven't played Forest and Spurs yet, but we've got 3 away games in the next 4. And I think this is, you know, I am right. You can say this. Every game for United is the next big test. But Liverpool, Brighton down. Sunderland added into that, 3 wins. These 4 games are so, so important because Tottenham are above us and they're in the same race. So that's going to be very interesting at their place. Everton at home, I feel it's a bit like Brighton. I would pretty guarantee we'd get the 3 points there. Crystal Palace away, very, very difficult place to go as well. And Forest away, well, the interesting thing about Forest is that Bournemouth beat them comfortably today. What worries me about that is I wish they'd got something at Bournemouth that was a little bit positive because Dyche hasn't got them a Premier League point yet. It's his first Premier League home game next Saturday against us. And guess what? They're in the bottom 3. Those components worry me a little bit that what they'll do is Amorim's going to have to play in a different way. And I think we're going to have to play in a different way in many games. But Brighton tried to play out from the back. They make a mistake and you're in on goal. We always know that with Brighton. Liverpool away are going to want to dominate you and you can get into the space behind. Forest are going to park the bus. Forest are going to counter on us. So, yeah, the lowest block ever, says Gene. So I think the next 4 games are really, really exciting. And, you know, I'm not going to set any targets, but why not go and get 10 points? You know, why not? Because December looks really good. West Ham at home, win. Wolves away, definitely win. Bournemouth at home will be tough, but, you know, Old Trafford, we're doing well. Villa away, we always do well. Newcastle at home, it's at home. Wolves at home. Like, December could be really good for us. So I'm sort of looking at this and I'm going, get through November, December, we're going to cook. We've got 4 games at home in December. And, you know, 2 of them are against West Ham and Wolves, who are utter shite. So it's exciting at the moment. It is exciting. But I think the next 2 away games are going to be, if we can come out of those with 4 or 6 points, it's looking really good. The next time we'll lose is on the 17th of January, says Sanmuk. Well, I hope you're right. Andrew Edwards, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Do you reckon this is our manager bounce, says Danny? I mean, I don't know whether you're joking, Danny, or not, but I don't think it's a manager bounce. I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. I think it's new signings settling in, which does take a bit of time. I think it's a little bit of luck, of course. You're always going to need a little bit of luck. We did at Liverpool. I think it's being much better at home. I said before the Brighton game, I think our home form is really, really good. I think it's a culmination of things. Le Mans feet are the real difference, world class, says Lou Lefar. And do you think some of our success is just put down to the rest of the league getting worse, says Constantine? I think the rest of the league getting worse, the rest of the league getting better. I've never known, apart from Arsenal, I've never known a Premier League like it. It's incredible to me to see that's the top 4 after 9 games. That's the top 4 when you're playing FC 26 and it's got a glitch. That's the top 4 when it's, 60 minutes into the first game of the season and it's as it stands. That's a ridiculous top 4. A ridiculous top 4. Arsenal top's not ridiculous, but Bournemouth, Spurs and Sunderland in the top 4 after 9 games. Applause please, but it is ridiculous. Look, I think that inspires confidence. Of course it does. If Bournemouth and Sunderland and Spurs can be in the top 4, then so can we. And belief and confidence is the thing. So I don't know that the league's worse. What I would say is I did expect Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool to be better. I expected them to run away with top 4. But obviously this is the betterment. This is better for us. I mean, Villa had a stinky start. Newcastle have had a bad start. Newcastle aren't even on that page. I don't even know where Newcastle are. You're looking around you in the chaos, but in the chaos, it can work for you quite well. So Newcastle have got 12 points. They're 4 points behind us, Newcastle. So they're sort of rear view mirror time, really, at the moment, and we're in amongst it. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. And of course, everyone's playing each other. We just got to focus on our own results. If you had to choose, says Sir Jim a lot, would you rather see Man United win the Premier League this season or Liverpool get relegated? What are you on about? You've done a super chat to ask me that. Would I rather see Man United win the Premier League or Liverpool get relegated? You know what? Can I just be controversial here? I don't want to see Liverpool relegated. And I know Liverpool fans that don't want to see Man United relegated. It would piss me off not playing Liverpool at Anfield or at Old Trafford next season. I don't actually want to see Liverpool get relegated. I want to play them twice a year. They're our biggest rival. So win the league, please. Tyler with a super chat says, do you think Bruno will stay if we get Champions League or Europa League? Yes. Yes, I do. I think you've nailed it, pal. I think maybe not Europa League, but I think if we get Champions League, he'll stay. I genuinely think this is about, if we're not in the Champions League, I'll go. And if we are in the Champions League, I'll stay. Yeah. Brian and Burmo and Ahmad off to the AFCON. How will that be covered? Says Alan. Mount, Mazraoui, Dalot, Xerxes, Bruno, Mainu. You know, there's multiple things that can happen when they go. I think I said Mazraoui, he'll be at the AFCON as well. So, but look, I can pick a team. Le Mans, Dalot, Yoro, De Ligt, Shaw, Dorgu, Mainu, Ugarte, Bruno, Cunha, Sesko. I've got no Ahmad, I've got no Mazraoui, and I'm still not using Mount or Xerxes. So I could just push Bruno into the front 3 with Cunha, play Sesko. I could keep Bruno in the midfield and I could play Mount and Cunha. We can get by for a few games. Mojo says, missing, lost, lookout notice for all the system advisors and formation experts. Just let Amorim do his job. I am still waiting for comments. I am going to wait patiently for comments from Amorim Outers. You're sat on a keyboard or on your phone. You are safe. Surely you've not all gone. We just want to hear from some of you. Are you coming back? Or are you still Amorim out, and why? Talk to us. Tell us. What defines being back, says John United. For me, being back means we're constantly challenging for the league, in the Champions League every year, and teams fear playing us. Yeah, I think that what defines being back is a good question. What defines being back for me is movable. So what defines being back this season is qualifying for the Champions League. What defines being back next season is finishing higher. And what defines being back in season 3 is challenging for the title. So this is what I'm talking about when I say INEOS must be ready to do this. Amorim needs this. In January, we need to go and get a midfielder, whether that's Conor Gallagher or Angelo Stiller or whoever. We need to go and get a midfielder in January. Because I think if we don't do anything in January, we risk that. That's a fair reflection of where I think we are, and that's not back. I think we are 6th. Whether it's goal difference or not, I think that's probably where we deserve to be after 9 games. And some people would say, well, of course, bloody logic, of course we do. And to all the people who say, well, if Bruno hadn't missed 2 penalties, we'd be in the title race. Yeah, and if Gakpo hadn't hit the post twice and missed a sitter, we'd have dropped points at Liverpool. And I'm sure there's other games where we could have dropped points as well. I'd rather say, if INEOS had bought us a midfielder, where would we be? Because I think we'd be higher. I do. If we'd had the goalkeeper situation sorted out before the last day of the window, I think we'd be higher. So people, you know what? I think Bruno Fernandes gets analysed a lot because he's a big earner, he's our captain, and he's technically playing out of position. But Bruno Fernandes is not the reason we're not higher in the league. He missed 2 penalties, fine. We didn't buy a goalkeeper until he was capable to make a debut against Sunderland, which was game week 6. 6. And we don't have a midfielder. So I look at January and I go, well, look, the goalkeeper's in now, fair play. But look at the difference that Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko and Lemens have made. Get the midfielder in January that you should have got in the summer and see what happens. Because I think not doing anything in January could definitely be the reason we don't get top 5. And doing something in January can be the reason that we do get top 5. So I think that things need to happen. And to answer John's question, what defines being back? It's movable. It's always movable because ambitious, successful people and teams don't rest on we're back. Or if we do this, we're back. Successful, ambitious people go, this is the target. When we hit that target, we reassess and we go for another target. So when we're into 4th place, we don't just go, hey, here we are, everybody. Oh, shit, we're down to 10th. When we're in 4th place, we go, how do we go to 3rd? Let's do the things that make us go to 3rd. When we're in 3rd, how do we go to 2nd? And are we preparing for that? What I'd be doing if I was running Manchester United, I'd be going, we're in 6th. I'm already putting things in for us to go to 3rd now. You know, don't wait. We all know January's going to happen. Not back, says Dan O'Connell. Remember, it was only a couple of weeks ago we were pants and people were calling for Amorim's head. We're one bad result away from that again. It's a volatile... milking the cow again. I need to stop doing that. I keep my hands behind my back. It's a volatile Premier League. That league table proves that. 1 week, you're one of the best teams in the league. The next week, you're getting beat. I mean, Brighton beat Newcastle last week and everyone was like, what a brilliant performance. Brighton had beaten Man City. We beat Brighton comfortably and Man City beat us comfortably. It's a volatile league. And what I mean by that is it is a roller coaster. It is a roller coaster. You know, Bournemouth are 2nd, Sunderland are 4th. We beat them comprehensively. I'd love to say we're not going to get beat by anybody and we're just going to keep rolling every week. And if we do, we will be 2nd. I mean, I will say this now. I was watching the Man City game this afternoon at the same time as Arsenal on That's Football. I was like, Villa deserved to win this game. And Brentford deserved to beat Liverpool last night. And I was like, there is a world, as weird as this sounds, there is a world where we do what we did under Ollie and Mourinho, where we finish in that weird 2nd place, where we're the second best team in England, but we're a long way off the first team. And what I mean by that is that when we finished second under Jose and Ollie, we were a bloody different universe away from the team that won the league, which I think was Man City on both occasions. So at the moment, second place, I don't know who's going to challenge Arsenal. And I'm not saying we would challenge Arsenal, but we could. As things are at the moment, there's not a team out there that I go, well, we couldn't get second place. If Bournemouth are second, we can be second. I'm sure that probably won't happen, but if we're playing positivity street and we're walking down it, if the league continues how it is and we keep picking up wins, that's consistency. And it's a volatile league, so consistency will move you up. We'll have to wait and see if it happens. Have you seen Sancho's antics earlier today? No, I just saw he got subbed on and subbed off. Keel Robinson says, I was Amorim out, now he's playing long ball, so he has my support. I never know with you whether you're being sarcastic, Keel, or not. Dennis says, not only will Forest park the bus, but the way Spurs played tonight, they had a very solid defence on the crosses. It will be tough against Spurs as well. I think you can catch Spurs, though, can't you? I mean, Spurs have lost to Bournemouth at home. Did they lose to... I feel like they lost to somebody else at home as well. You can get... Spurs don't worry me massively. They're like us sometimes, Spurs, but they're having a good season. Do you reckon this is our manager bounce? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I have to be honest, Mark, says Faru. I suddenly don't feel embarrassed to look at the league table this weekend. Hopefully this continues. Only way is up. Just got to keep winning, you know. I think in this league table, draws don't help you. Losses don't help you. You just got to keep winning. And if you lose one, you've got to bounce back with two. But we just got to stay in the mix. I think when I look at the league, I just look at it and go, isn't this nice? It's pleasant. It's still not where I want to be, but it's where I sort of said at the start of the season, I pitch United between 5th and 10th. And where we are at the moment is at the upper end of that. The last 2 weekends have been fantastic in the sense that it's become uncharted territory for United, well, certainly in the last 12 months, to have 2 good weekends in a row. We've scored 6 goals in 3 games, which is averaging 3 goals a game and 3 points a game, isn't it, in the last 2? Well, no, add Sunderland in as well. So 9 points from the last 3 games and 8 goals? So we're scoring goals, we're winning games. We're in a position of credibility. We're not being spoken about in the press as much as they want to talk about us. They can't in a negative way. It's nice. It's almost like we're just being left alone to enjoy our club, because the media don't like talking positively about Man United because it doesn't really sell. Arsenal doesn't really... Positivity doesn't really sell in the media. They want the negativity. And we're not we can't be used for that at the moment. So it's a nice experience, and long may it continue. I'm really confused at the stigma of long ball means bad football. Since Lamens opted for kicking a long ball, we've created lots of chances from it, says Sam. And I wish Bruno... Well, you know what? I think we're ahead of the curve in the sense that pet ball is dying and it's problematic, and we've adapted and changed, and it suits us. And the funny thing is this wasn't by design. We didn't hit long balls because of Sesko. Amorim didn't even know he wanted Sesko until early July. We've just adapted into the long ball. And as I said this morning, it's not really about hitting Sesko with the long ball. Sesko didn't even play against Liverpool. We still hit the long ball. It's about winning the second ball. When Van Dijk or Konate heads it back, we win that ball. Obviously, if Sesko wins a flick on or wins the ball, great. But we don't even have to win the first header. It's about winning the second header. And that's where the real work is being done at the moment. I wish Bruno was from Cameroon and not Mbeumo, says Anthony. Only Anthony can save us now, says Mott. And Tyler says, how many signings do you think we would need in the summer if we come in top 5? And do you think the owners would properly back Amorim if we got top 5? I mean, look, how many signings do we need in January? 1. I don't want to take the piss. We need 1. You know what? We've got to be real here. We're doing really well at the moment. I don't think we've got enough, really, to get top 4 without an addition in January. And we need 1 player in the summer. We need to add a midfielder to that squad. 100%. No, non-negotiable. That is backing your manager. 1 player. If we can get 2 or 3, great. But 1 player in January is a must. It's not an ask, it's a must. And it needs to be a midfielder. In the summer, I'll answer that question, Tyler. In the summer, you go again. They can't go, well, we backed you last summer, so you're not having much this summer. We've seen that happen before. This needs to happen every summer now until we are where we need to be. So next summer, you need to find another £200 million. What those positions are? Well, another midfielder for definite. And then whatever the problems are in the team at the end of the season. You know, maybe we do need another centre-back. Maybe we need another striker to work with Tesco. Maybe we need another goalkeeper. I don't know. But it can't... We're a long way off where we need to be. I mean, I look at the squad of Arsenal and Liverpool and, like, even Chelsea. We've got a lot of work still to do. And I expect that evolution. And we're talking a bit too far into the future. But we must continue to make changes every summer on a big scale. Bruno's a legend. He's got 100 goals, says Subpreeth. You still say this team is good enough for top 4, says Class of 99. Did I ever say this team was good enough for top 4? No. Sir Jim Radcliffe said this team is good enough for top 4. I don't think it is, no. Based on... You know what? I think you're trying to be a little bit antagonistic, but I can see you, right? So Jim Radcliffe said a few weeks ago, oh no, somebody said that Sir Jim Radcliffe said he believes this team is good enough for top 4. I said, what utter bollocks, right? Today, that looks like a good statement from Sir Jim Radcliffe, right? But when he said that, he had no concept that the league was going to play out like this. Like, at the start of the season, this team's not good enough for top 4. And Sir Jim Radcliffe doesn't have a crystal ball. He didn't know that Liverpool were going to be shit. He didn't know that Chelsea were going to be losing at home to Sunderland. And he certainly didn't know that Man City were going to lose 3 of the first 9 games. So right here, right now, Class of 99, this is the brilliance of life. The unpredictable. But don't come and try and hint to me that Sir Jim Radcliffe knows what he's talking about when he said that this team's good enough for top 4. When he said that, he'd have been looking at the squad and saying it without any knowledge that Liverpool were going to fall apart, that Man City were going to lose 3 games and Chelsea were going to lose at home to Sunderland. We're not good enough for top 4. Anybody with a brain knows we're not good enough for top 4 because it should be Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea because they've got the best squads. But you look at the league table now and sometimes the script isn't written. Look who's in the top 4. Now I'd say if Bournemouth can be in the top 4 and Spurs and Sunderland can be in the top 4, then so can we. But I'd still say across a 38-game season, because we're only a quarter of the way through, aren't we? A quarter of the way? Not even a quarter of the way. No, we are a quarter of the way through. About a quarter. Well, we'll be a quarter of the way through about a half-time against Forest. Exactly. I'd still say by game week 38, I expect the top 4 to be Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City. So no, I don't think we're good enough for top 4. I think if we get a midfielder, and I don't know why people talk about top 4, by the way. It's top 5. Like, I genuinely think, categorically, yes, we will get an extra spot in the Champions League. So I think we're good enough for top 5, but I think we need to add a midfielder. And I think this is where some people, especially on a toxic Sunday, they get a bit arsey, they get a bit moody. But as I said to you at the start of the show, I'm the kind of person, and I think a lot of people are, I don't rest on my laurels. Like, we've put ourselves in a position, let's not just see what happens, let's make it happen. Let's not be happy to be 6th. Let's go again and again and again. Ended up being a good comment from you. Thank you very much to you. JB says, our subs were terrible last night, but want minutes. Oh, JB, good comment. I don't actually agree about the substitutes. I don't agree about the substitutes. And there's a couple of things I wanted to pick up on from the game yesterday very, very quickly, and JB's super chat will be answered. I don't have a problem with the substitutes last night because we're 3-0 up, right? If he made no subs and we'd won 3-0, people would have gone, we're 3-0 up and he still won't give Xerxes or Heaven or Mainu or Dorgu minutes. Like, when you're 3-0 up at Old Trafford, that is exactly the time to give Xerxes, Mainu minutes. And he gives them minutes and it goes wrong. And as I said after the game yesterday, I think people expect too much. Football, like the Premier League league table at the moment, is volatile. It's a flip of the coin sometimes. You make a lot of changes, it can go really well, or it can go really bad. When all the changes were made, we basically lost 2-1 because we were 3-0 up and then all the subs happened. But Brighton made a lot of changes as well and they were better. Brighton got better with the subs. We got worse with the subs. That could have gone either way. But I agree with Mojo. We do need 4 or 5 players next summer because the drop off in quality from the subs was worrying. And it could be because those players are minutes deficient on the pitch or they're not good enough. And given our finances, we won't be able to sign more than 5 quality players. This is why it's a 2 or 3 year project. You know, if you look at Mbeumo and Cunha and potentially Lamens and Sesko, we need to keep doing that for the next 3 or 4 years. They are the blueprint of the type of players we need to sign. We need to do it every year because we'll dilute the shit out. I wasn't massively bothered about the subs. You've got to make them in the Premier League. Next week, those subs might come on and be the difference. I just think it can happen. Brighton made loads of changes and it worked. Why didn't it work for us? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I just want to say on yesterday as well, De Ligt. I know I said De Ligt was brilliant yesterday and he's been our player of the season, I think, with Mbeumo. But, oh God, I mean, I was watching the highlights today. Some of the things he did, did you see that ball he hit to Ahmad right behind the defence as well? Some of the tackles he made, clearances. I mean, the media just have an issue with De Ligt, and I don't really understand why. But I'm telling you now, if he had an English passport, they'd be calling him the best centre-back in the world. He's playing so well at the moment. Like, really, not just good, amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing performance yesterday. To the point where, if that had been Lindelof instead of De Ligt, I think we'd have lost the game. I actually think his performance yesterday was like scoring a hat-trick up front. And it's hard as a centre-back. When you win a game and you're 3-0 up, it's really hard to stand out as a centre-back when you're winning and scoring loads of goals. So the equivalent for De Ligt's performance yesterday would have been like saving 2 penalties if you're a goalkeeper, or scoring a hat-trick if you're a striker, or assisting 5 goals if you're a number 10. I just think it was a flawless centre-back performance for 90 minutes. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Adel says, I'm still not sure he's found his best 11 yet, Ruben in. I think he has. I actually think he has, Adel. And I think that's a great, great question, and it will create some debate. I actually think he has found his best 11. You know, I do think about a lot when I'm not streaming, as I'm sure you do in relation to football. And I'm sort of at the point now where I'm just going to leave it. You know, I've left it with the midfield. I don't like Bruno and Casemiro, but they did play well yesterday. But I don't like that midfield. But it's obviously his best choice midfield. So he's going to stick with it. I don't like Dalot as left wing back, but he's done it 3 games in a row now. I'm pretty sure he did it against Sunderland. He did it against Liverpool and he did it yesterday. So you might not like his 11. I don't think I like certain aspects of his 11. But I think his best 11 has been established bar 2 positions. I think Lemens will be the goalkeeper. Ahmad is the right wing back. De Ligt is the left wing back. De Ligt and Luke Shaw are the centre backs. I don't know whether he's made his mind up on Maguire and Yoro yet. I think that's one where there might be some changeability. Casemiro and Bruno are his midfield too. Mbeumo and Cunha are in his team, but I don't know whether he knows whether he's going to keep playing Mount in a front three or Sesko. I think they're the only 2 positions that are up for grabs. Sesko or Mount, Yoro or Maguire. I think 9 of his team, we know. And in a way, that's really good because you want a manager to have their best 11. But I think some people are going, well, the midfield's up for debate and De Ligt shouldn't be at left wing back. That's opinion. And it's an opinion I share. But I think Amorim has shown us that Bruno and Casemiro is midfield 2 and De Ligt is the left wing back. He's played 3 games in a row in that position and we've won all 3. He's a senior member of the team. He's a favourite of Amorim and he's in the leadership team. So I think we have got a best 11. I just don't know whether Sesko is in it and Yoro is in it at the moment. It could be they are. It could be they're not. It could be that he's going to rotate it game to game. But the other 9, I think they're nailed on. What about when Martinez comes back? Well, yeah. I mean, I think the real loser at the moment is Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui's been one of our most consistent players over the last 12 months, but I don't see how he gets in the team at the moment, which is a good thing. It's never a negative. It's a good thing when you've got good players that can't get in your team. And we're going to have injuries, of course, but Mazraoui would struggle to get into that team at the moment because if you can play Ahmad at Anfield, you don't need to play a defensive right wing back ever. So I think he plays Bruno there because he wants him to join the attack and have a CDM and 3 centre-backs covering the defence. I don't think Bruno has any defensive duties, says Shahin. I tend to think that what went wrong yesterday was actually captaincy. At 3-0, you expect some on-the-field discipline and organisation. We fall apart sometimes, says Nick P. I did think both Brighton goals were good. The free kick was good and the header was good. You can always find somebody to blame. But, you know, Brighton scored 2 good goals. And I don't like conceding goals. But, yeah, Xerxes could have done better on the header. And the free kick, I don't think that's a goalkeeping error. I don't think Dorgu even committed a foul. You're going to concede goals. And I think that's, you know, we're not conceding the same sort of goals we did last season. I think that's a positive. Arsenal's year to win the Premier League. Everyone is shitting the bed. Can you imagine United winning it and Arsenal finishing second? We will be there, says Akkers. Would you pick Mount or Sesko, says Ghost92? Well, let me run that as a poll. Actually, I don't need to run a poll, do I? I know the answer. It'll be a landslide. I don't want to do it because it'd just be too negative. Yeah, definitely Sesko. We've done this before. It's definitely Sesko over Mount. Mason Mount is injury prone. People may not have picked up on it, but Mount didn't come on yesterday because he's got a knock. And Amorim didn't want to risk him. Mount was on the bench because he was fit enough to be on the bench. And he was there in case Amorim needed him. He didn't need him, so he didn't use him because he's not fully fit. So, or he's an injury risk. That's his second knock of the season. If that had been a midweek game, he wouldn't have been fit for it. So, all right, it's a small layoff, but it's still another layoff. So, you can't rely on Mason Mount. So, for me, he's had a very good season. He's had a good season. I'm not knocking him as a player. He's had a very good season, but he is made of glass. So, I can't build a future around a player like that. So, if you are going to be part of our future, and you have to be managed minutes, you've got to be a bench player. So for me, Sesko anyway, but also I want a focal point. I want a striker. I don't want to play with a false 9. So front 3 for me is Mbeumo, Cunha and Sesko with Mason Mount, the supplementary number 10, when we need to make a sub or rotate. That's what I would say. Who would you buy as right wing back and left wing back in the summer, says Ross? If I could buy anybody, I'd buy Mendes and Hakimi. And that will be my answer, because I don't actually know that we need both. I don't actually know that we need either. I mean, you always need to improve, but I don't think that they're positions that we need to prioritise. I think the midfield is spend as much money as you can. We made some great signings in the summer, Mark. Another one like that, and we could really push on, says Rob. Just a midfielder. If we'd got a midfielder in the summer, where would we be in the league? I mean, I'd be happy if we were where we were. I mean, actually, let me just rephrase that. Where would we be in the league if we'd got the midfielder Amorim wanted? Maybe we'd be higher. Maybe it doesn't matter. Because if I was 6th with a midfielder, I'd still be better off than I am now anyway. We're ready to pounce. We're ready to pounce. It's not about if we got the midfielder, would we be higher? Maybe we would. But I'd still be ecstatic with 6th and a midfielder, because we'd be ready to pounce and we'd be stronger, which is what we can do in January. I don't think De Ligt ever had a bad game at United to Shahin. Oh, can you remember that? Can you remember that De Ligt against Arsenal in the Cup when he cleared it off the line, or virtually off the line? I think he's a fantastic player. I think because we've been so shit, it doesn't really get recognised. But I think we robbed Bayern Munich. I mean, Bayern Munich had a bloody petition not to sell him. I think we absolutely robbed them. You know, what was it, £40 million for a 25-year-old centre-back? I don't think Bayern Munich will lose any sleep over it, but I think he, I think he's just a bargain, an absolute bargain. And I did worry that he might be injury prone or something like that, because we got Schweinsteiger from them, didn't we? But no, I think we did great business there. I really do. Thank you, Mojo. Can you sing a few lines of Take Me Home, Country Home? I'm not singing tonight, no. Thank you very much for your super chats. Theatre of Dreams, We Can Dream, says Garfield. Would we challenge top 4 if Le Mans started earlier? I think we need to stop doing that. I've seen a lot of it today, and I don't like it. I don't like the whole, if Bruno had scored his 2 penalties, we'd be top of the league. If Le Mans had been here earlier, we'd be top of the league. We haven't been perfect this season. We haven't been perfect this season. As I said, even last week, if Cody Gakpo hadn't hit the post, we wouldn't have won. So we'd have 2 points less. If Chelsea's goalkeeper wasn't a prat, he wouldn't have got sent off in the first few minutes, and we might have struggled against Chelsea. So, you know, Brentford, well, they beat us anyway. I'm trying to think of other games that we've won this season. But shoulda, woulda, coulda. We should have brought a goalkeeper in July. We should. You know what? You make a good point, though, because I look at the goalkeeper situation and I'm somewhat confused. And it's a little bit like, you know, the Anthony Taylor and Michael Oliver decision on Ahmad's penalty last night was a disgrace. It's one of the worst decisions I've seen this season, and I've seen some bad ones. But because we won 4-2, no one's talking about it. And because sometimes when things are going well, people don't want to talk about the injustices because, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Forget it. It's fine. Disgusting decision. Disgusting. I am yet to see a justification as why that wasn't a stonewall penalty and 2 people looked at it and said, no. Disgusting. But look at the goalkeeping situation for Manchester United. Explain to me why we ended up panic buying a goalkeeper on transfer deadline day. Why did we do that? Did we genuinely think Onana and Bienda were going to be good enough? Because I think at one point that was the plan. Because Le Mans was the simplest deal in the world. It didn't even cost that much money. We could have done it on June the 1st. Why did we do Le Mans on the last day of the transfer window? Why was our goalkeeper strategy left to the last day? Well, the obvious reason is because it was a panic. We weren't planning on doing it. We were going to go into the season with Onana and Bienda. So, you know, there is still work to be done at Manchester United, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm talking about work above the manager, which is why I'm saying get a fucking midfielder in January and give us a real chance. Just give us a proper chance with all the tools. Still think Amorim's fighting with one arm time behind his back, like every other manager at Man United. Give them the tools, I think they'll succeed. But I do think if Lemens had been in goal from the start of the season, he'd have needed a pre-season. You couldn't have bought him the day before Arsenal and thrown him in goal. He'd have had to been on the US tour. Like, even buying him on transfer deadline day, we've had a month of bedding him in. So Lemens to play against Arsenal would have needed to been signed in early July anyway. And we didn't do it till the last day of the window. Even with Brighton having so many bad passes, they had a much better passing accuracy than us. This is not sustainable, says Marlowe. Using AI, we're 23.68% through the season. We're currently winning 1.78 points per game. Based on the current form, that projects to 68 points at the end of the season, which will be 5th place. Might even be 4th. See, somebody said to me in the summer, you did a really good thing, Mark, once. You didn't look at position, you looked at points. And I remember the season where we finished under, I can't remember what season it was. It must have been a couple of years ago. I think we'd finished, I think it was the season we got into the top 4 with Ten Hag. And I said the next season we need to get 70 points. We didn't. Somebody said to me in the summer, well, if we get 60 points this season, that's a massive improvement than last year, where we didn't get even 50. But not getting 60 points for Man United is a disgrace anyway. I think we've only got less than 60 points 3 times in the Premier League. So I always think we should be getting 70 points a season. That's what United should do, in my opinion. 70 or higher. That's the standard we need to get to. So if we can get 68 points, I'll be very happy with that. But I think Jose Mourinho is the only manager I've ever known that breaks it down by game to game. Building a proper competitive team that plays your style takes time. We will no doubt have setbacks, but we have to keep pushing and back the system, says Sam. We've had a couple of people who've sort of hinted that they're Amorim out, and I appreciate that. You weren't going to get judged anyway. It was more about there was an Amorim out movement, and it's gone a bit quiet. And you can speak. You will be given an opportunity. But I think that the one thing I would say with total confidence is that what the Liverpool and Brighton win have done, before we played Liverpool, I would have said there is a chance that Amorim could be sacked in the November international break. And therefore, there's a chance he could get sacked before Christmas. I think, and it's only 2 wins, and maybe I'll get proven wrong, but I think that those 2 wins have made him safe for the season. I do. I just do. I think it's made him safe for the season. And it's amazing that 2 wins can do that. But I think the type of wins they are and the entertainment factor of those wins, I think he will be safe for the season. I actually think we won't even get to a point where he should be in danger again. I think we will lose games. But I don't think we're going to do... Say we lost to Forest next week and people start going, oh, here we go. I don't think we'd then go and lose to Spurs and Everton as well. I think there'd be a bounce-back result and a couple of wins, which is acceptable. You know what I'm about to say? Newcastle lost 12 games and still finished in the top 5. So we will lose some games. Of course we will. We've only lost 3 this season. So we could have another 9 losses at some point. So we're going to lose games. But I think the positive for me is that I just want him to be given the season. I mean, I want him to be here next season, but let's give a manager a season. Let's walk down the road less travelled. He has to get results to get the season, though. I wouldn't be saying give him the season if he'd lost the last 2 4-0. He'd be in big trouble. But it feels like now I'm very confident that he'll get the season based on the last 2 results. And that's a big positive because we always sack managers. He's not even, you know what? He's not even been here 12 months as well. I know the win ratio is horrific, and that's something that, is it still horrific now? But he's not even had 12 months. At least give him the season and then reassess. We might finish 7th this year and people might go, had enough. Or they might go, give him a little bit more. We might finish 5th and be in the Champions League and people will be like, yes. We might finish 10th and people will be like, get rid of him. So, but give him the season. There's lots of points available in December, says Lawrence. Yeah. Keel says, no sarcasm. Long ball is Amorim compromising, so I support that. I said a month ago we are getting top 4, so clip it. I wonder what Amorim thinks is his strongest lineup, says Adel. Well, I think we've just been through that. I think there's 2 places up for grabs, as I said. Can't wait for the next game. Good feeling, says Sander. And that's, last week went really quick as well. So, again, Saturday at 3 o'clock. I envy everybody who lives outside the UK. Fucking Saturday at 3 o'clock. What an arse. But, yeah, it will come around really quick. Glinios' plan is to replace Bruno with Cunha and pair him with Mainu. Then they'll only need to buy 1 midfielder. I think it's brutally bad idea, but I clearly see this happening, says Nicky. I don't think... I don't know what the plan is with Mason Mount because I haven't had an update in a long, long time. But the major update with Mount at the end of last season was that it's a real problem. Like, they just can't figure out how to keep him fit for a long period of time. I don't think that United would have bought Mbeumo and Cunha if they thought that Mason Mount could stay fit for the whole season. He's a really valued player, but I don't know that Man United are thinking, let's build a team with Mason Mount in it over the next 3 or 4 years. I don't. I think they want to use him as much as they can, but I don't think he's in the plan to be a first-team player week in, week out. In fact, I don't think he could do it if we were in Europe. I mean, we're playing 1 game a week, and if you noticed, he gets subbed every game before 70 minutes. So that's 1 game a week, and he never plays 90. And 1 game a week for a club like Man United is a joke. Like, we should be playing 2 games a week. So I think Mount's role will be what it can be. He'll start some games, he'll come off the bench for some games, but I don't think he's a 90-minute player anymore. I mean, he's young enough that can change, and maybe the new update is that they're building him back to a position where he can do that. But I think he's a rotational player at the moment. I'm really confused that we've done that from Sam. Appreciate that. A wise man once said season starts after game 10. That wise man was me, Jacob. And whilst I do take it on board, and it was a very good take, I did say I think we've just got to get to game week 10 and be in touch with top 5. We basically are in game week 10 now because we've had game week 9. That's what I was talking about. And it's probably a little bit better than I thought, because I think I said, let's be, within striking distance of 5th place after game week 10. So that would be, 5 points off. So there we are. But, like every human being, we are manipulated by emotion. And there has been times, justifiably, and we've all done it. There has been times over the last 10 weeks, last 9 game weeks, where I've said, he's sacking himself. He's going to end up sacking himself. Because it felt like that at some point. So credit to Amorim, he's come through it. But now that we've come through it, I do think the season starts now for United. The players that we bought in the window are now settled. Lemens is now our goalkeeper. Cunha and Mbeumo are scoring goals and playing really, really well. Sesko is settled. And, we've picked up enough points to put us in the striking distance. So, as I said, it feels like the ever-rotating 4 games, but we've got 3 away games in our next 4. Those 3 away games are Forest, Palace and Spurs. Palace and Spurs are doing well. I'd say Forest are in a false position because their owner fucked up. I don't know. They're unpredictable next week. They're in the bottom 3. We should win. But people are saying it's going to be a tough game. We should be beating a team in the bottom 3 next week. That's my stance. But they are dangerous. They are dangerous, these next 3 away games. But it's exciting. It's exciting. It's genuinely exciting. And I think that's just what we want, isn't it? We want to be excited. We want to be entertained. Why is De Ligt not being spoken about positively in the media, says Jace. Is it really that bad in the UK? They're desperate for a bad game for him. It's not that bad now. It's just when he came in, he just got a load of unfair criticism. They said he was slow, not physical enough, which is completely the opposite of what he actually is. I think it was because... I don't know why it was. I don't know whether it's because they saw him as a Maguire replacement and Maguire's plays for England. I don't know whether it's that. Sometimes it can be. He's certainly not an unlikable player, but there was just an instant dislike for him. There was for Martinez as well. But there is for a lot of foreign players. I mean, look at Gyökeres. Like, desperate. They're desperate to call him a flop. Isak's getting it as well. Verts. Sometimes it can just be a foreign player thing, but he should be getting a lot more credit. But the only people that matter are the fans. The only people that matter are you. And I don't see... All I ever see is praise, and not just for De Ligt, Lemens, Cunha, Mbeumo, Yoro. We're a football club that's built on foreign players. Yes, we're an English club, and we always will be, and we've had some great English players, great British players, great Irish players. But, look at the spark that took this club back to where it needed to be, a Frenchman. And I'm not talking about Michael Sylvester. So, yeah, as a fan base, we ain't going to take any notice of that, are we? Because the boss saw Onana struggling against the League Two side, says Mrs. Stone. Yeah, but you know what I mean, Mrs. Stone? I mean, like, did they not see him struggling last year? I know for a fact that Amorim wanted Onana out, but there were certain people in the club that felt that we didn't need to buy a goalkeeper because Amorim doesn't have a veto. And I think you're probably right. They realised really late in the window they needed to replace the goalie. My worry is, with these wins, this is the best we can be in what's been an average start to the season for the other teams, says Lemon Lover. I don't know. I think we've got gears to go up. I do. I know what you're saying, that there's a lot of good teams underperforming who will get better, whereas we're playing at the limit. And I think that's a great point. Are we playing at the limit and everyone else is underperforming, i.e. Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, Man City? I think they are better than us, some of those teams, but I still think we can be a team that goes to Palace and Forest and win. And if we do that, we'll beat Everton at home. We've got 9 points from the next 12. We'll be right up there. So we've just got to focus on us. My opinion on Baleba yesterday was that he was shit. My opinion on Baleba is that we'll just have to keep an open mind for the summer and see what he does. I do think we can keep the momentum going, Ethan. We are back, says Adel. Yoro is 19. He's one of our best. I think it's mostly about not overwhelming him like other spoiled youngsters, says Mrs. Stone. Thank you very much. And I think Mojo's done another one. He says, rebuild is a conundrum. If we take 3 or 4 years to build a team, the likes of De Ligt, Mazraoui, Cunha and Mbeumo will be nearing 30. So whatever needs doing has to be done in the next 2 summers. Good point. Thank you very much, Mojo. Thank you very much. Okay, let's end it there. Very good show. Really appreciate you, as always. The start of another week with momentum and positivity. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Why did you do a 7 o'clock show? I didn't explain this at the start. I don't know what time it is everywhere in the world, but the clocks went back in the UK last night. So 8 o'clock last night is actually 7 o'clock tonight. So my body clock is knackered, basically. And I just thought tonight, we have done the Sunday night show at 7 o'clock before. So I thought, well, being as yesterday, this would have been at 8 o'clock, even though it's 7 o'clock, I'm just going to do it at 7 o'clock. And for some of you, that might be your normal time, because I don't think the clocks go back everywhere in the world. So I think most of Europe, it will be 7 o'clock at night. But around the world, you're probably going, this is the normal time for the show. So, yeah, we will be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock UK time, which for some of you will be an hour on from now. I'm confusing myself. 8 o'clock show will be back tomorrow night, even though technically it was the same time for some of you. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care. I'll see you on the morning show tomorrow and not start of another exciting week. Speak to you in a bit.